we saw a slight dip in the index today, but this was mainly attributed to a few counters, the key counters in the market today. We saw a few counters dipping, like Cooperative Bank dipped from about 21 to levels about 20.50, 20.25. Same thing happening with Kenyan from levels about 11.25 to lows of about 10.90. But generally, today's liquidity in the market was actually quite good. The turnover actually doubled compared to yesterday. So we actually saw huge volumes actually trade today, particularly on counters like KCB, breweries, Safaricom, Equity Bank. Mostly under industrials and the financial sector actually did quite huge blocks today.
Of course, we have, as I said, been seeing quite a bit of foreign interest coming through, and it seems that EABL has been one of those favoured stocks when it comes to foreigners. We know that they are planning to buy a stake in Tanzania's Serengeti brewery, so clearly this prompting quite a bit of appetite.
In fact, today we actually saw quite a huge trade. Traded about 776,000 shares today traded at a price of about 212 Kenyan shillings, which was mostly foreign purchase. But yet again, EABL actually released a cautionary announcement to the shareholders, telling them that in line of their 51% takeover of Serengeti breweries, they may actually draw into their reserves and also their earnings. So going into the future, maybe the next 2 or 3 years, we may see a reduction or a stabilizing in dividend payout. So definitely, if you're looking at breweries right now, it's more of a long-term buy, because you're not expecting increase in dividend. You're actually expecting either a cut in dividend payout or actually a stable dividend payout in the next 2 years. But we are still seeing a lot of demand coming in for the counter.
Let's touch on Equity Bank. We saw those fantastic numbers that were out at the beginning of the week, really showing that it is starting to grow extensively. Loan book also growing, deposits also higher, and they are planning to expand even further, going into various other countries in early 2011. Some say that it's looking slightly expensive when you compare it to other banks such as KCB. Would you agree with that?
Not exactly. Equity, we're looking at, if you're looking at it's actually books and it's lending. They've actually increased their lending book. This is because of the agency banking that they're doing right now, particularly the M-Cash banking. So actually that is actually helping them in actually boosting their deposits so that they may have more, in fact, to lend out. We actually saw profits up by about 52%, third quarter profits. Last year they had a small loss in Uganda, but they actually cut that loss in Uganda. They're actually looking at making breaking even this year in Uganda. So definitely, for me, I think Equity is still a bank to look at. Today we saw it trade roughly about 4.3 million shares today at an average price of about 26.75. Mostly there was a bit of foreign and local demand. So definitely we're actually seeing it hold at those levels. And you've seen it actually trade at levels of about 26, 50 and 27 within a month or so. So definitely we may see some upside potential on this particular stock.
Amos, what is your stock pick at this point in time? I mean, everyone is pretty much divided if they should be heading into the telecom sector right now. I mean, Safaricom, some say looking relatively cheap. You've got price wars coming to the fore. You've got third quarter results coming through from the banks, and the NSE 20 up around 52% year to date. So really difficult to look for those value stocks. But what have you got your eye on right now?
I actually have my eye on the financial counters. We're actually seeing tremendous results from them. HFCK announcing 81% growth in profits. KCB, we're actually expecting to hear from them. The same thing with Coop Bank. Looking at counters like what Equity up 52%. Definitely, for me, I'd put my money on the banks.
All right, let's turn our attention now to the likes of Safaricom. I mentioned it a little earlier, price wars and so forth. 4 shillings 90 really being the average sort of price that we've seen over the last couple of weeks. Quite a bit of volatility. Although for the month of September, October, the share price has done relatively well. Your view on this stock and whether it would be a good time to start accumulating?
Yeah, generally today we saw Safaricom trading at levels about 490. It did about 14 million shares today. We're actually seeing a strong foreign participation on this particular counter. for me, I think Safaricom is more of a long-term buy right now, considering that Zain came in with their price wars and dipped in numbers in terms of revenues. So we will not see them actually make much in terms of report, in terms of income actually generated during this financial year. So we may see a slight dip in that. But for me, I think levels of about 490, 5 shillings. It's more of a long-term buy, accumulate for the long run. But generally, we know that they're going to make money definitely from M-Pesa. That is their key selling point right now.
Amos, thank you.
I think it's more of a long-term.